Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Now recently I reviewed Elton John's 2010 collaboration with Leon Russell, The Union, and I rated it pretty highly, a very productive partnership between the two musical greats. We've got some unfinished business because I've got a couple of bonus tracks to look at, and I'm also going to respond to the comments which you've left underneath that initial video. Now, if you're fortunate enough to have the deluxe version and the vinyl version, you'd have had two extra tracks to add to the initial 14. So the 15th track was My Kind of Hell. This is a song, again, another Bernie Taupin lyric about somebody who's attracted to a bad person. We've got a very upbeat instrumental here, which is kind of quicker than the rest of the song. Elton takes the first verse, Leon takes the second. Some interesting lyrics here. I can't say if I ever liked you much, but you're my kind of hell. The setting it's okay. It's not remarkable. It's not particularly memorable. And I say it was a fairly sort of by the numbers rocker. Still pleasant to listen to. Perhaps not quite as good as some of the others on the album. I'm going to rate this as an average 4 out of 10. The other bonus track is Mandalay Again. This is about two people falling out who want to try again in their relationship. I never really knew you, but come back, I'd like to find the time. That's a lyric from the song. Leon starts it off. Elton takes the second verse. It's a slow country ballad, a decent tune. It sounds a bit like some of the content on 21 at 33, actually, and fit quite nicely onto that album. And a little bit like sort of the Roy Rogers song from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which of course is a lovely song. Mandalay, well, you probably know that that's from the novel Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. So sort of a bit of reminiscing there about perhaps a beautiful place that maybe turns out to be not quite so beautiful when you've lived there for a while. There's a real duet going on between Elton and Leon here, taking different lines, different notes for the same word. And that perhaps could have been developed even more in some of the other songs. They tend to sing alternately or the same melody together. So that is really pleasant, actually. And I think this is one of the sort of the best of the songs on the album. Except it wasn't on the original album, of course. It's a bonus track. So I'm going to rate it as a good track and give it 6. Now let's have a look at a few of your comments. Many thanks for sending them in. MJ has contacted me to say this is a totally brilliant album. It is faultless. Well, I like the album a lot. I would never go as far as saying something's faultless because that's saying every track is a 10 out of 10, which clearly is not the case. But I would say that it's a very accomplished album and is a very welcome addition to the repertoire. I really like most of the songs on this and the way they're presented. Now, Turner has kindly sent in a whole chart of all of the tracks from their own ranking. So Never Too Old is the least favourite with $800 Shoes. Interesting because a lot of people like that one. And Turner's got, right at the top there, 3 is Hearts Have Turned to Stone, 2 Monkey Suit, and 1 is Hey Ahab. Lots of people like those last 2, real upbeat rockers, of course. Great live tracks as well. Turner says it's a very fine album and is lucky enough to have it on vinyl. Yes, you are indeed, because you've probably got those extra 2 tracks as well. Jim has sent in a comment saying a good album review. I'll have to check this album out myself. So if you haven't heard this album and you're an Elton fan, please check it out. I think it's definitely worth having in your collection. You're going to go back to it quite a few times and listen for what's going on here. Good lyrics from Bernie on this one. Lots of really interesting songs as well. So lots of influences coming together here. Now, Beth has sent in some comments saying it's a very fine album indeed. Correcting me on one thing, Gone to Shiloh, Beth saying Neil Young sings the second verse, not Leon. So thanks for pointing that out. I had missed that, but good to have Neil Young's contribution on this one. Beth disagrees with me, though, on my rating for When Love Is Dying. I think I rated this fairly average, really. I just felt it was a little bit reminiscent of kind of an 80s Elton era melody. But Beth says it's one of Elton's finest recordings. Simplistic lyrics, to be sure, but a killer vocal and wonderful harmonies and arrangement by, of course, Brian Wilson. Beth saw Elton and Leon in concert when they were promoting the album. Now, I would like to have been there for that concert. I've seen some of the work on YouTube, of course, but it would have been great seeing those two playing together. Rob says, nice review. The Union is one of Elton's finest albums of the 21st century, and the music on it lives up to the beautiful, touching story behind the album's creation. Yeah, absolutely with you there. If you read the liner notes, so there's an essay there by Elton, or if you watch the documentary on YouTube, you can see how this all came together. It took a while, but it was worth it. Rob says, I always feel like I'm listening to a jam session between two old music veterans. Yes, got that sort of feel. It's not too polished, is it? And we don't want it too polished. We want these two playing together, singing together, and enjoying the music. Now, Davey says, thanks, haven't heard any of these songs. I'm going to get the CD straight away. Good move that, you're going to enjoy it. Or if you can get the vinyl, of course, a bit more expensive, but you do get those 2 extra tracks. Or get the deluxe version of the CD, that's again. Now, Adam has sent a message saying, this album holds a special place in my heart. It was the first new collection of Elton's music I listened to on the day it was released. Stayed up late to listen to waves of country, blues and gospel wash over me, an experience I'll never forget. Yeah, all those influences are there, aren't they? And of course, don't forget those superb backing vocals as well, often in that sort of gospel-y blues genre. They really contribute to the whole effect of this album. It's settled in my life as a touchstone for when I'm in a reflective mood, and is perfect as a road trip soundtrack. Yeah, I'll have to do a video, won't I, for the best Elton tracks to play in the car on a road trip. I've got this playlist from a certain leading supplier of playlists that lasts for 15 hours. I'm sure you've got the same sort of thing. I've got it downloaded, so anytime I go in the car, I just shove on that playlist for 15 hours and it just shuffles them through. Although it's surprising how often the same tracks come up, if you've noticed that. Adam says it's the zenith of Elton's later work, in my opinion. Favourites, Hey Ahab, Monkey Suit. I should have sent Roses, that's a good choice. And In the Hands of Angels, that beautiful solo at the end from Leon. Now, Ellie wrote in to say it's a wonderful, fantastic album. Highlights again, Hey Ahab, Monkey Suit. Gone to Shiloh is a really popular choice. I don't know whether I undermarked that. I'm not sure. I think I gave it a 6 out of 10 there on that one, which is a good rating for Gone to Shiloh. But a lot of people are saying that one is even better. Certainly, it's a very powerful lyric from Bernie, and I wonder if maybe I should have given that a very good or even an excellent. I always reflect on my markings on this. Now, the only track that Eddie doesn't like is Never Too Old. Yeah, okay, it's not a standout, but it's still a pretty pleasant. Eddie knew The Song for You, which of course is Leon's composition, which Elton sang and covered in a concert early on in the 1980s, I think. Eddie says, this album helped me to get more interested in Leon's music. What a great talent. Now, interesting story here. Eddie says that Leon used to play at a tiny bar in Denton in Texas when Eddie was in college. I never took the chance to see him, and I regret that, because after this album he was too big to go back. Now, wouldn't it be great to see some of these artists just playing in a small bar somewhere, just to, a few dozen people, just to hear them sort of jamming on the keyboard, singing a few old songs. What a great experience that would have been. Now, 007 has written in with the ratings for all of the tracks. Many thanks for that. The favourite seemed to be, if it wasn't for Bad, getting 8.5. Hey Ahab, 10. Yeah, lots of people like that track. Gone to Shiloh, 7. Hearts Have Turned to Stone, 8.5. I should have sent Roses, 9.5. That's a favourite with quite a few there. Mandalay again, which I've just reviewed, 9.5. Like that song. In the Hands of Angels, they're only getting 5.5 from 007. I think I'd have rated it slightly higher than that. It's a lovely tune, very poignant, that one. But what did you get for Monkey Suit? Only 7.5 for Monkey Suit. I think maybe it deserved a little bit more. Many thanks for that anyway. Dirk has sent in some comments saying, just referring to the ones that Dirk would score differently, $800 Shoes getting a 10. I absolutely love that song. Hey Ahab, 10. Gone to Shiloh, 10. So those 3 songs seem to emerge as overall favourites. Now, interesting fact here which I'd missed. Dirk saying that There's No Tomorrow, this is the refrain of that, was taken from hymn number 5 by the Mighty Cannibal. And I have looked that up and listened to it, and yes, you can clearly see the influence there. During the documentary on the making, Elton called the mighty Hannibal to ask him if he could use this part of the song. So that's you can see the influence there. It's kind of a tribute, isn't it? And it fits very nicely into what Elton and Leon have created there. Dirk is saying, I should have rated In the Hands of Angels because it affects the album's score. Yeah, difficult decision on that one because Elton isn't on that track and he didn't contribute to the writing of it either. So I didn't include it in my overall Elton song ratings, but I certainly would have thought about either a good or a very good for that song. Anyway, many thanks for those comments. And finally, Danny thought the review was pretty accurate. Disagrees on the ratings for Gone to Shiloh. Yeah, for me, this is as good a lyric as Bernie has written, and the music is chilling and spine-tingling. Yeah, I think so. I think perhaps I would raise the score on that. Would personally rate this as a 9, along with The Bridge and This Train Don't Stop. Well, The Bridge, as you know, and This Train are both two of my favourite tracks, so very high scores I would have given for those. I wouldn't have thought Gone to Shiloh quite as good as those, but maybe a 7, maybe a very good, or possibly an excellent. Anyway, many thanks for your comments on that. Keep them coming in if you've got anything else to say underneath. We certainly enjoyed our review, and I've enjoyed revisiting this album. So thanks for watching. Don't forget you can watch any of my other 30 videos reviewing all of Elton's studio albums, track by track, every track rated. I've got about 450 ratings now on my spreadsheet. Look out for more videos. The next one I'm going to do is just looking at the 50th anniversary of Madman Across the Water and some of the new merchandise and new recordings being released on that. See you soon. Don't forget, we're still standing.